Hello, fellow Pops. I'm Dr. F. Scott Field, and I'm bringing you a message from our sponsor at Ice Shaker. My diet's always been a little bit messed up most of my life, and I recently started trying to take back control of my health. And one of the issues my doctor pointed out was that I needed to make an increase in my protein intake. Now, I can't eat chicken breasts all day, every day, so protein shakes and powders have become a big help. Ice Shaker and its built-in removable agitator is an amazing product. They come in a bunch of sizes and colors, and you can even get inscriptions and logos on them. They're stainless steel, double wall insulated, and hold ice for 30 plus hours. If you're interested in purchasing one, you can click on the link in our show notes. Or if you're interested in selling them for your business and making commission, and let's be honest, if you're listening to the Professors of Profit vlogcast and you can consider yourself a pop or a professor of profit, you're likely interested in selling these as a side hustle. You can click on that link in the show notes as well. Or you can reach out to me directly on social media. I'm pretty available there. I love Ice Shaker, and I'm betting you, your patients, and your clients will too. Ice Shaker, let's shake things up. Now let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Field, and I've got with us today a very special guest, Irena Kalenik. And Irena is a nurse who's actually married to a physical therapist, a private practice owner. So we're going to talk today about multiple revenue streams for sure. We're going to dive into that. But one of the things we're really going to specialize on today and focus in on is e-commerce, right? And online business. There's a big movement toward shopping online. Obviously, the pandemic made that even better. I think it's a trend that we're going to see that continues to increase as we go. But Irena, thanks for coming on today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at today and what you're up to.
Hey, nice to see you and everyone. Like he mentioned, I'm a registered nurse. My husband is a physical therapist. I still have a full-time job as a nurse, and I help manage my husband's private practice, private model PT practice. And a few years ago, we understood the importance of having more than one or two streams of income. And we started developing working on our financial literacy and learning how to create multiple streams of income, which really, really was so important during the pandemic, where my husband's practice really dove down with the pandemic, and lots of patients he was not able to see because he mostly works in assisted living facilities and personal care homes, and they all shut their doors because of the virus. So what we've been doing, we've been investing in passive income streams, basically investing in other people, in the structures, in the systems that have been successful, kind of like a franchise model, I guess, right? But online. And like you mentioned, our lives been online, shopping online, even before the pandemic. And with the pandemic, we really saw the convenience of it, right? And Amazon is my best friend. I buy everything online right now, to the point that everyday items, soap and shampoo, everything comes from Amazon. Everything is delivered. It saves time, it saves money, definitely very convenient. So what we've been doing is we've been investing. We invested in the Amazon store. Now, it's not easy. I have few friends that tried and failed. So what we do, we invest in the team. We invest in the system, that it's proven, that it's successful, that it's profitable. So we're truly investors where it is passive income for us. So we have the professional team that runs the store. We see all the sales. We get all the notifications from Amazon. They make money for us. This profit is split, and it's win-win situation. And it creates the passive income for us. Either I work, either I'm on vacation, or I want to sleep all day long, I still have the money coming in from the sales.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started in that process. What was the entry point and level for that? How does somebody go about getting into e-commerce like an Amazon store?
The way we got started is a few years ago, we've been introduced to a group that teaches about the passive income and investment. And our first passive income streams was the rental real estate. So we have several properties, and we were able to do cash out refinance recently because of the prices going up, right? So basically making money from money. And we actually were planning to buy another property. And one of the real estate investors brought this e-commerce idea or e-commerce opportunity to me. And when I look at the returns, it's like, oh my gosh, for the same money that you put in real estate for down payment, you're making 10, 15 times more. And that's how, listen to the masterclass video. I talked to the investors. I followed his store. I saw the results. I learned the team. I actually went through the advisors program with the team because I'm very detailed oriented person. I needed to know exactly what's going on, earn the trust of the team. So I went through this. I'm in daily contact with them. I believe where the company is going. And we became clients, and now I'm actually even an advisor. So I'm showing this opportunity for other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about some of the pros that can come from an e-commerce store. Why should people consider, especially professors or healthcare providers or people that are just looking to add another revenue stream? Why should they consider e-commerce? What are some of the benefits you're seeing?
I think e-commerce is the future. I mean, it's the present and the future, right? You see more and more stores are being closed, the physical locations of the stores. I mean, with the rent expensive, again, with the convenience, right? You can do e-commerce, you can do, if you're talking about just as a client, right? This is something that is projected to, I don't even know if it's a double, triple, or quadruple, right? Amazon right now, it's about 53%. Of the Amazon are the third-party sellers. Amazon want to be 99%. So that's what they encourage, more and more people starting to sell. So we know it's going to grow. It's not going anywhere, right? More platforms like Home Depot and Walmart, and even look at even Kroger, look even at Publix, right? You can order everything online, right? They can deliver to your house, or you can drive through. I mean, it's the future. It's the way we live. I mean, can you imagine your life without social media today, without the online, without the internet? No, everything is moving that way. So I don't think e-commerce is going anywhere. I think it's only going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. I was shocked. We have 2 humongous Amazon warehouses within 2 miles from us. And I'm like, wow, 2? So, it's not going anywhere. And of course, the trucks, of course, the traffic is getting worse, but the Amazon trucks are everywhere. So, it's growing. And why not to be a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, when I lived in Waco, Texas, relatively small town there, they were just starting an Amazon warehouse there. It was huge. Huge. They had the land, they had and Waco's growing. The population was about 100,000 when I was there. But it, to see Amazon warehouses popping up left and right is not uncommon. So, no. Like you said, it is continuing to grow for sure.
Absolutely. And, lots of times, look what's going on with the baby formula right now, right? We deal with it all the time. The phone calls we get. Where do people get formula? On Amazon, right? That's what I hear, because they can't find it at the store. I have a friend who they have a newborn baby. He went to 33 stores. He's actually in Texas. And he's like, and I am not kidding you. And he was able to find it on Amazon.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, convenience, right? Sometimes necessity. There's a lot of reasons to turn to Amazon and online shopping and on e-commerce. But at the same time, it's one of those things that, like you said, I think it's going to be just the way that we do things moving forward, right? Brick and mortar shops are going to, tend to dwindle over time, I think. Plus, a lot of the things with e-commerce is that you don't have to have inventory. You don't have to have your own warehouse with a stock full of stuff.
Oh my gosh, for the investors like we are, this is phenomenal. You're truly an investor. That's the problem. I have one of the physical therapist friend that he says, my garage is still full of crap. I hate to say this word, but that's true, right?
Yeah.
Full of stuff that he doesn't know how to sell, because we're not business people. We don't know lots of this marketing and e-commerce, because we have the whole team behind us. We have the team that does the product research. It's thousands and thousands of dollars, the software that runs 24/7, that is doing the product research, that is looking at the supply and demand, looking at the margins, yes, they have warehouses and they're building more and more warehouses because Amazon only limits you, right? You can have only so much space. So the team has their own warehouses to store these products, right? And I'm not even talking about all of the licenses and agreements with the manufacturers. It's a huge business. I've never realized how big it is when it's true business, when it's very, very high level business. And yes, and you're exactly right. I don't have to deal with any of this. I don't have to store anything. I don't have to do any customer service. I don't have to do nothing. If there are any returns or anything, they handle everything.
Yeah. Irena, tell us a little bit about tips or tricks or pointers or things you've learned in the time doing e-commerce. Like if somebody was looking to get started and just wanted to know some of the expert secrets and stuff, what are some things that you've noticed over your time in e-commerce that you could pass on to the audience?
I think the most important is for people is just to open their minds. That's where I see the most of people saying it's a scam, it's not gonna work, or you don't know how to do it. And I don't need to know how to do it. I think you need to have the general idea. I don't think you need to be completely ignorant and saying, here's my money, make money for me. I think you need to know, what's going on, and it's still your account, it's still your store. But I think what the most important is people need to get educated. They need to believe in the product, right? Because you're not going to, yes, you're going to have results because the team is behind you doing it. But I think you need to believe in the product. You need to get educated. You need to follow the trend. You need to see what e-commerce is, how the money is generated, and you need to believe that this is the future.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that the pandemic taught us was that, even in healthcare, we're not recession proof, right? We're not pandemic proof. We can lose our jobs, we can be furloughed, we can be fired, right? So again, I'm a firm believer. My kind of thesis in my book was that, you need to diversify yourself and your career as you would your investments, right? So how can you do that? How can you add different, diversification strategies to your career, right? And I think a lot of that is just becoming more educated, being aware, right? And recognizing there are all these opportunities out there, many of which are still in the boat of healthcare if you really want to, right? And some of them are not, some of them are outside that, right? Like real estate, not totally related to healthcare, although you could use your healthcare network to tie it in if you really wanted, right? You could take a rental property and only rent to healthcare students or med students or PT students or whatever it may be, right? I have a couple of friends that are PTs, but also realtors in their free time, right? So again, they're diversifying their skill sets, they're diversifying their knowledge base. And if you're willing to think outside the box and just be aware, at least, that this other stuff is out there, then it's up to you to take the next step and lean into it and become educated on whatever skill set it is you're looking to build up and bolster, and then eventually probably turn around and offer to other people, right? Whether it be, service-based or education or coaching or whatever it may be. Once you get competent enough at one of these skill sets, you've now added not only a diversification point, but possibly multiple revenue streams off of that new skill set.
Absolutely. I watched this video quite some time ago. And the guy basically said, invest in these 7 things and you never have to work again. And you mentioned the word diversification. And when we invest in, let's say, stock market, they say diversify. What I really like about that video, that he says that the economy, the parts of the economy always up and down, right? Real estate is on fire right now. E-commerce is on fire. Stock market is underwater. So diversifying in just one area is not really helpful. Like right now, the stock market is down. The blue chips are down. The growth stocks are down. Everything is down. So that's the whole purpose of diversifying in completely different areas of the economy. Let's say during the pandemic, right? The stock market was on fire. People were staying home. They were getting stimulus, right? Money were pouring in the stock market. Now, real estate was down for a lot of landlords because people were not paying rent, right? The landlords could not evict them. So even if people could pay rent, they were not paying because what's the point, right? They wouldn't be evicted. So, but the e-commerce, right? The Amazon, the Shopify, the stores were on fire because again, everything else was closed. People were getting stimulus and they were spending money, investing in stocks and buying online. So when you have a little bit of everything, that's where the diversification comes in place. And like today, right? Stock market is down after being so high just last year. It's completely down. But look, real estate, oh my gosh, our houses, some of them are doubled in the last 2 to 3 years, right? The rent up 20-25%. Texas is one of the states that I hear the rent is going and the prices are booming, right? So real estate is up, e-commerce is up, stock market is down. We don't know what's going to happen next year or in 5 years. No one, and I've learned this. It doesn't matter how big of the guru you are in your field, no one can predict the future. So the more areas of diversification you have and the streams of income, the safer you are, because nothing is going to be perfect, right? Something is going to up, something is going to be down. One of our real estate providers told me, follow the 20% rule. And I said, what does it mean? He goes, expect that 20% in life going to go wrong. No matter what you do, it's going to go. So you have to have other areas to compensate. And you're absolutely right with the physical therapy, nursing. I mean, all you hear is, oh, Medicare is going to cut another 3.5% next year, right? So nothing is proof or I know some people were saying, like I was reading some posts on Facebook, like a PT or nurses, the jobs that we thought that were stable, they're not. Nothing is stable. And even if you have a job, the pay keeps going down, definitely not going up, and it's definitely not catching up with the prices.
Right. I mean, if you look at physical therapy, right, the reimbursement's going down, 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 down. It's not going to go up. Like, I don't see any turn in that anytime soon. I don't think I've ever seen a turn where it's gone up. Right. So reimbursement's going to keep going down. Like you said, at some point, there's a ceiling to the salary that you can make as a healthcare provider. No matter how good you are, they can only afford to pay you so much and keep the lights on, right? So it's whatever it is, you're going to max out at some point. There's going to be a ceiling. And once you hit that ceiling, then what? Because like you said, I actually left the job because the healthcare benefits kept going up and up and up, and I wasn't getting a raise. So like you said, I was actually making less and less and less. And I told them, I said, hey, if I'm not going to get a raise and you're going to keep raising my healthcare benefits, the price of that, I'm losing money working for you. So I can't stay here anymore. It was nothing against the company per se. It was, just time to move on. It was like, hey, financially, this doesn't make sense for me. Right. On top of that, the benefits weren't even that good. I mean, they were pretty terrible. So it's like, what am I paying all this money for if I'm not getting any real medical benefits out of it? Right. So, I think realistically, like you said, if you spread things out and you diversify, in your skill sets, in yourself, in your career, and the things that you can do, it makes you more attractive to other, bosses who may potentially want to hire you eventually, right? Oh, they do this, this, and this. That's different. Like, not a lot of PTs know how to do that. Right. But B, again, it kind of recession proofs yourself a little bit, because you do have money coming in from this thing that's way up. Let's say like real estate for now, right? Our house, we bought it about a year ago. And again, the equity we've got on it just in that year is insane, right? It's just nuts. But at the same time, like you said, the stock market's way down. So like, while one goes up and one goes down, if you're involved in 5 or 6 different ones, at some point, something's going to go up enough to bring you in a little bit of money while the other one goes down and doesn't bring you in so much money. Well, then, like you said, maybe 5 years, that flip-flops. Now the one is bringing you in money, but the other one's not. So like, as long as there's just a couple of streams bringing you in some sum of money, you're going to be all right in the end. You're going to be safe. You're going to, have a little bit more financial freedom, which then leads to that time freedom so that you can, not have to trade your time for money and not have to be somewhere working 9 to 5 to earn that paycheck. And again, I have a 9 to 5 and I probably will for, ever, because my wife, is a type 1 diabetic. And so I need the medical benefits, right? I have kind of that golden handcuff. but I'm okay with that because of all the other things that I'm doing, bringing me in the money to offer me not only my passion and things I love to do, but it's also making me money on the side. So it's a win-win for me, and I think
Exactly.
people
And
need to recognize that.
yeah, and that's what people they like, because we honestly, between the real estate and our growing Amazon store, I'm getting close to replacing my salary, my RN salary. Am I gonna quit? No, I love my job, but I am a competitive ballroom dancer. So I grew up dancing, then I put it on hold for 30 years, right? Raising kids and never thinking about spending time or money on myself, always feeling guilty. So now we're empty nesters. Now my husband is also in a little in dancing. He uses a lot of dance moves with the patients, training their balance and coordination. It's been phenomenal, doing a lot of wellness classes for older people with music and dance steps. It's been big hit for him and the patients. And I'm back into competitive dancing. That's a lot of money. That requires, there's no way I can afford this on my RN salary or even his PT income from his own business. So, like you mentioned, it gives you the opportunity to pursue your passion, to follow your dreams, whatever it is. Either it's a travel, either it's buying a nicer car, or helping your kids, having more activities for them, or education for your children so they graduate without loans. Whatever it is, it gives you the time, it gives you the opportunity, so you don't have to work another job, right, to bring a little bit or a lot of extra income. And then I'm to the point that if something happens and if I cannot have my job, or if my job demands me to work hours or schedule that I don't want to work, I can say no. It gives you this freedom of walking away. You're not a slave of your employer, basically.
Yeah, that's two huge points there that you said, Irena, and I think it's very important for people to recognize. You can work other jobs and more PRN jobs, and they pay better because you don't need the benefits and the 401ks and all that stuff. So they pay a higher rate, but you're still having to exchange the time for money. You're still having to be there and work for somebody else and making somebody else rich while you get paid a salary, right? So I think it's important for people to realize that if you get to a point where you're making enough money through some of these other revenue streams, especially passive ones where you don't have to be there physically, well, then you have the opportunity to say no to those things like, hey, we really need you to work another shift this weekend. No, I'm all good. Thanks. I appreciate it. But I'm just going to stick and even cut back hours if you want, right? For me, if I'm working, 32 hours a week, right, with 8 hours for personal development or patient care, or whatever it may be, and that's considered full time, I could maybe cut back to 30 hours or 28 hours if it's still considered full time and be happy with that because I just need the benefits, right? So I have that ability if I'm able to replace the salary with some of the other things I'm doing. So really great points. And I hope, the audience will take that into consideration, and the difference between starting your own business versus working PRN, and I think the tax benefits alone on owning your own business are worth it in my opinion.
Phenomenal. I remember one of our nurses a while back posted something. This was during the election, right, with the Donald Trump, and I don't get political, but it was at that time when they said, "Oh, he doesn't pay any taxes," and the nurses were so mad. How come we're making, what, hundreds or 1,000s of what he's making? We're making more. But you're exactly right? The S corp and all the deductions and everything we learned with having my husband's business. And yes, he's making significantly more than I am. And yes, his taxes are significantly less than me being W-2 employee. So, and that's, you definitely get the advantages of taxes savings.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a kind of a not. It's a thing that's not really thought through when people are like, oh, should I start a business? Should I not? It's like, well, the answer is probably yes. Like most of the time, if you need to generate more revenue, the answer is to start your own business, whatever it is. And I'm a big fan of centering it around your zone of genius and your passion and whatever you want to do. So, lean into that. If you love it, I mean, worst case scenario, it's a hobby that you're getting paid for. So, enjoy it, have fun
Yeah,
with it.
I 100% agree with you. I think we're to the point that people making money in everything. I mean, it's just insane,
Yeah.
right?
Now, it's a great time to be alive. That's for
It is,
sure.
but
This,
we have
this cell phone here does a lot of amazing things. I can tell you that much.
exactly with the social media, but it's just phenomenal. I have a friend who is making money. She's a registered nurse and she's making 3 times more by doing some flower arrangements. And I don't even know, that's your passion. She loves it.
Yeah.
And I have a 18-year-old girl who is passionate about dancing, and she's been a dancer all her life. And she has a Facebook group for adult women that started dancing much later, and she's teaching them all in like 18-year-old kid, and she's making thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. So truly follow your passion. You are 100% right. Don't go to school just to get a degree that used to pay a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Just so you will get this stable job that doesn't exist anymore. But you're right. You can do your passion can be either healthcare or it's whatever you like, whatever it can be completely side hustle that a lot of times will turn into, business, successful business.
Yep. Yeah, Irena, I can't thank you enough for taking your time and coming on to talk to us about all things e-commerce and a little bit of, different revenue streams and diversification. Where can people find you and reach out to you if they want to ask more questions or just follow up and see what you're up to these days?
Yeah, absolutely. They're welcome to DM me. I'm on the Facebook, Irena, Irena, Kalenik, Kalen as in Nancy, IK, right? So send me a friend request, DM me. I will be glad to share what we do, the company that we invest in. I can send the video that explain the business. I'll be glad to pop on the Zoom call like we're doing. And if somebody is interested, introduce them to the team and start the investment. And this honestly will be, if people don't invest, will be their first paycheck that they never have to work for.
Exactly. And yeah, we'll put those links in the show notes so it's easy for people to get in touch with you. But again, I can't thank you enough for taking your time and coming on to chat about this stuff because I love this. I geek out over this stuff. So thank you so much. And I hope the audience got a lot out of it.
You're welcome. And I think you and me and many others, this is becoming my mission more and more every day to educate healthcare professionals. We as the industry do not have any education. I'm the only child of 2 physicians who, they knew, and we're from former Soviet Union. So you go to work, right? You have a job, you work your hours, you be on call, you come home. So when my parents came to this country, being older, they both had jobs, they retired. They were not physicians like, being in this country. So they truly had jobs with, decent salaries, but it's still a job, exchanging time for money. They retired. They only depend on their social security, right? I have a best friend who's OBGYN who is making tons of money. And she says, I hate my life. And I said, what's wrong? Because she's making great money, but she has no time to do anything. All she knows, work, being on call, and 72-hour on-call shifts every so many weekends. So nurses, PTs, all I see is the way for them to make money is to work extra shift, pick up another, job or do some PRN. And we need to educate. We need to educate healthcare field in passive incomes, in investing, or like you said, even using your healthcare skills and knowledge to create something on your own.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us can be content creators, right? Anybody who's gotten a, degree, a master's degree, a doctoral degree, a license, to practice medicine or whatever, they know more than 94% of the population. So we can educate, at that level and create content that can make money, right? Whether it be a YouTube channel or a book or a course or whatever, it's all at your fingertips at this point. So I appreciate that sentiment for sure.
And I love what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you too. Like I said, it's going to take a movement of people to really open the minds and eyes of people that are in this. We don't, because it leads to burnout, right? It leads to, like you said, depression and hating your job and hating your life when all you wanted to do was help people. You know, you got into a healthcare field because you generally want to help people, right? There's a care portion to healthcare, right? You care about people, you know, and it's not fun to watch clinicians burn out left and right because of, you know, ridiculous hours and not enough compensation and you know, all the terrible situations, the documentation time, the, you know, on call time, all that. It shouldn't be that way. You know, we're a great country. We've got a great, you know, opportunity here. We need to like take it and seize it and pay the people that are doing these jobs what they're worth, and then also giving them that work-life balance a little bit too. And that's where I think we need to step in and educate on that.
Yeah. Our older son, he's a fourth year medical school student, and I was shocked. He told me, Mom, there are 2 kids in our class that already hate being a doctor. They haven't even graduated yet this year, but being in like clinical rotations for the last year, they already hate it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, these kids already have 200, 300,000 loans, right, on their backs, and they're already hating their jobs.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift. You know, we have to, again, it's thinking outside the box. It's taking a step back and looking at the 30,000-foot view and looking at all the possibilities and the opportunities. If you can do that and stay out of that like narrow focus, you know, pigeonhole of being a doctor or being a physical therapist or being a nurse or whatever, the opportunities are out there. We just need to take a breath, take a pause, and think about it and think outside the box. What are my opportunities? What are the possibilities? What would I love to do? What would that look like? And if people start doing that and taking those steps, you know, the world's your oyster, you know.
Educate yourself first. Read the book, Get Coded by Robert Kiyosaki. That's how we started. Right? There are one more books, and network with people. Develop the relationship, right? Learn from them, follow the successful people, surround yourself with people who can do it. Take advice from people that are successful, not from people who tried what you want to do and failed. They will not be able to give you good advice. Surround yourself with successful people and don't care what your friends and family are telling you. Stay on your path. Because if you listen to everyone 3-4 years ago, we would have not have our own PT business. We would have never invested in real estate. We would have never invest in Amazon store. And I'm pursuing other. I am educating myself. I'm networking with other groups of people that invest in other cash flow assets. So never stop your education. And now people that told me it was all scam and you have to just find another job, now they're approaching me, hey, can you share your contacts? Can you teach us? Right?
Yeah, so, I mean, who I can't remember the person who said the quote, but you know, you are, you know, the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? So if you surround yourself with other successful people doing what you want to do, that, you know, that's going to elevate you and you know, how you operate. So your network is your net worth is such a cliche phrase, but it's true. And I say this to my students all the time. I say, you have to be networking at day one. You should have been networking a couple of years ago, but here we are now. Today's the next best day to start. So, you know, network for sure.
Absolutely. Even with PT, if without you guys and David and, you know, all other coaches, I wish we met you 20 years ago.
Yeah, same.
We met our real estate coaches 20 years ago. Same. I can't say e-commerce, right? It didn't exist. So e-commerce is the place to be right now. Use this opportunity to jump in. But yes, it's all about the knowledge, about the mindset, and it's your network, 100%.
Well, like I said, this was an absolutely great episode. I really appreciate your time, and I think the audience will really get a lot out of it. So thanks again, Irena. I look forward to talking with you in the future, too, probably about some other things down the road.
Absolutely. Good luck. Feel free to